Welcome to the Solemn Vanguard channel. Today we are going over my 10 favorite Vanguard items, or well, cards. Some of them are cards, some of them are items. Now these don't necessarily have to be like my favorite card to play in the game, because I could just grab my Grand Blue deck and go over it. This is more so like the things I liked to collect over the years. Some of these aren't recent, but most of these are from many years of just collecting Vanguard stuff. Now before getting into it, I wanted to have two honorable mentions. First of all, this Mordred was actually my very first Mordred. I started the game with a Blaster Dark Revenger trial deck, and so in that you got a Blaster Dark Revenger in like double rare foiling, which was the cover card, but then after that you got this rare foiling Mordred, and I never got that. Blaster Dark Revenger in that deck wasn't particularly great, but Mordred was your actual ride unit, so I was like, wow, this card is so cool. Why did they have to make it a rare? So this was absolutely my favorite card to get started with the game. It's not particularly rare, that's why I didn't really want to put it on the list, because it's not really much of a collecting thing, it's just the card I started with. The other honorable mention would have to be my mats from playing competitively. So this baby right here, I don't know if you see that. So this is my world finalist mat. Very fun. So those items are definitely dear to my heart. I'm never selling those either. But then I could grab mats from every premium season going, oh, and this one, and this one, and this one. So that's not as exciting. But those are definitely honorable mentions that are definitely huge parts of my collection. Same thing with the prize cards and so forth. So to get into the actual items, we start off with this bad boy. A SP MLB. This was always interesting to me, because it's Blaster Blade with Blaster Dark together. And I remember seeing that in the anime, and it's like, wait, doesn't Yu-Gi-Oh have a similar thing? It's like Blackluster Soldier and Void of the Beginning. You're taking like that dark and that light and putting it together. So this is kind of like Vanguard's Chaos Monster, but then, you know, in this universe. So that was always interesting to me. These are also fucking hard to find now. That's actually fucking crazy. Like this is 180 now or 150? Either way, like I wanted to buy more. I would have liked to have a playset, but at the prices that they're at right now, I'm like, well, fuck it. It's only number 10 on the list. I don't want to go overboard, but it's still a cool card to have. Then number 9, we have Dragonic Overlord. Now this one is frustrating to put on this list, because you know I'm not a huge Dragon Empire guy. I don't like red clans. However, I still gotta respect the fact that it's the first. You know, Vanguard started with Blaster Blade and Dragonic Overlord. So even though I never want to play this fucking deck, I still gotta go like, well, you know, you started watching the anime and the first thing you knew was Blaster Blade's Dragonic Overlord. I gotta respect it for the history, that's why I still collect it. And gladly, I do have a playset of this one. But again, I'm not gonna put it as high as maybe some other people. I assume that if you have a really cool binder and you're all, these are my favorite Vanguard cards, and you're actually into Dragon Empire or Kagero, you will probably put your Overlord like at the top. I don't. Next up, to finish that trinity, we have Blaster Blade right here. I like Sanctuary more than Dragon Empire, and Blaster Blade, once again, it's Vanguard. You know, if you want to see Vanguard, here's Vanguard. This is Vanguard. It's also what made me sad about V. They tried to bring that nostalgia back, but you can't bring nostalgia back. It always feels very forced. It's like if they remastered Harry Potter now. It would just, ugh. So this is Vanguard, happy to have them. But what I like way more than the good guys is the bad guys. So yeah, Blaster Dark, BTO4 SP, I like this one way more than the other ones. It is not Blaster Dark Revenger, I'm actually waiting for that one to come back. But even if I had Blaster Dark Revenger, I would still probably prefer this one. Not only is this art actually cooler, and you know, that purple that really looks amazing, but this is also the original. You know, Blaster Dark Revenger will always be Blaster Dark Revenger. This is the actual Blaster Dark. And again, I was a Ren simp, so if I had to resonate with any card, it would have to be this one, because that's what he actually used in the anime. Until, you know, the Revenger arc. And I love the Revenger arc as well, by the way. But I would feel actually Raging Form and even the Abyss would feel cooler to me than Blaster Dark Revenger itself. So now we get into number 6. Here we go. This is what I'm talking about. RLR Nitros. At one point I had 6 of this, and now I have 4. I don't know where the other 2 went. I might have accidentally sold them at some point, or they're lost somewhere here. But this card, man, I love it so damn much. I'm a huge Nitros fan. There's actually another Nitros on this list as well. I just love Grand Blue that much. She is like the waifu. I'm sure a lot of people prefer Lukie, and I respect that. Lukie is definitely cool as well, but man, Nitros. And this is also like probably the rarest. Actually, no. No, the next Nitros that's coming up is more rare. But this one was still a bitch to pull. Like, on release, this card was $120. And then when the V reboot first happened and all the G cards crashed, I picked her up at 30 bucks. And I just picked up a bunch of copies. I was like, I've always wanted this card. I couldn't afford it at first. Now I can afford it. Bam. Here's all of my RLR Night Roses. So very, very happy to have this card. Absolutely gorgeous. It's also so different. Like, they never brought back this type of frame and coloring and just the vertical lines and it's completely different. No other Vanguard card looks like this. Also has like the golden name and the golden frame, which they didn't really bring back. I know there's other cards with golden names like the BWCE promos, but this is just so different. It's amazing. Now, we are breaking into our top 5. So let's grab the next one. Oh, so this is a Continental's prize card, Claret Sword Dragon. I picked this one up last year sometime. I've always wanted this card. This was the first ever Vanguard prize card, 2015 Continentals. Back then I sucked ass at the game. I was super frustrated because I saw people doing really well, like Jay. Jay was stopping. I was like, oh, how does he do it? How does he do it? And so I wanted this card so bad because, you know, Shadow Paladin was the clan I started with. Together with Grand Blue, it's still my favorite clan. Great Nature, Shadow Paladin, Grand Blue. Those 3 basically have always been it. Just it being the first prize card ever. The coloration looks so amazing. Again, that golden name that they don't really bring back often. There's also not that many out there in the world of this, you know, like if you have your set cards, you know, you might have an SP or an RLR and so forth. And maybe there's a couple thousand. And a couple thousand still isn't that much, but it's quite much. Whereas a prize card, you're like, damn. On this list, I have none of the prize cards I won myself, but man, this is some history right here. I love this card. Now, next up, and this is not actually a card, we have Vanguard Climax sleeves. Now, Different Fight actually made a video about these sleeves a while ago because we both had been looking for these and for completely different reasons. Different Fight had been looking for them to have his entire Vanguard Grand Prix Climax kind of collection together. Like, I know he has always had the blue ones from 2012 or something, or 2013, and that was his prized possession, and he was looking for the 2011, but finding the 2011 was actually borderline impossible. However, I was looking for these because back when I started playing Vanguard, I saw a video of the CEO of Bushiroad, back then Kidani, playing with these sleeves. And I was like, wow, what are those sleeves? This is the CEO's sleeves. I want the CEO sleeves. And so when I started looking, I noticed these don't exist. No one had them. And I looked, and every once in a while I would check eBay, and Different Fight was also looking, by the way, so this was kind of a race. And so at one point, he hits me up, he goes, I found him. I was like, what? He went like, yeah. And there's another pair. And he links me, and I click, and they were already gone. So I was super frustrated, but a few months after that, he went, hey, I found another pair. I was like, fuck. So then he got them for me. So thank you so much for that. So now I finally have my CEO sleeves. Finding these is impossible. You just don't find them. Like, go to UUTE, Ami, whatever the hell, Bai, Amazon, eBay. They are nowhere to be found. This was just for that event in 2011. That's like 10 years ago already. That's crazy. So I'll be putting these on my favorite deck now, being Grand Blue. I just wanted to show them off on video before doing so, because wow. I'm very excited to finally have these. Next up, we have the rarest Vanguard card in the world that I'm about to show you. And that's my number 3. Rarest Vanguard card in the world. There's only one of this in existence. Can you see it? Oh yeah, this is a rare card, alright. Let's flip her over. This is the Clan Leader Great Nature card. Now, you know, some jokes aside, there's only one in the world. There's the other clans as well, but they're all one of one, essentially. So this is a funny one. This was in Kara Expo 2019, before all the craziness, you know. And someone had won it. And then Albert, from Team WCC, had it. And I wanted it. And you know what Albert wants? Albert wants money. So I went up to him and I asked, do you sell it? And so he quoted a stupid price. You know, he quoted the kind of price where you're like, you're gonna be an idiot if you take it because I kinda don't wanna sell it. And so he quoted the price and I said, sure. So I went and bought this. I now own the Clan Leader Great Nature card right here. Very, very excited for it. I plan to frame it finally. Today, actually. One of one, part of the collection, never leaving the collection either. This This is just a piece of Vanguard history where you're like, wow. I really would have liked to have the Grand Blue one, but I couldn't find the guy selling it back then. But yeah, this is very fun. I love having this, even though I wasted a stupid amount of money. And the worst part is, after that, we were staying over at Quinlan's, the leader of Team Vision, and this didn't fit in my suitcase. So I thought, okay, I put it in my suitcase and I just go back home, no problem, right? It didn't fit. So then Quinlan actually had to ship this to me after that for, once again, a stupid amount of money because of the awkward size of this thing. You know, if you are a painting collector, sure, you are fine paying shipping for such a big item. But for this thing, wow. So I paid like 50% of the price again to get it shipped to Belgium. Regardless, I'm still very happy with it. I absolutely love this thing. So we're breaking into the final two. Next up we have Night Rose SP. Again, we had a Night Rose before, our RLR, but this is my actual very favorite art of Night Rose. This was the art that you saw in the trial deck. It was the art that you saw in the anime. This is how you were introduced to Night Rose. It's just beautiful. And the thing is, if you were looking for RLR Night Rose, you basically had, I think, 1 RLR per case, and so every 2 cases you would find this one. But the thing was, this one, I think, was only in SP packs, and so you had SP packs for a multitude of clans. So it wasn't just 1 per 2 cases, which is already, you know, plenty rare. It was 1 per X amount of cases. I don't know, was it 3 or 4 or even 5? I don't know, I would have to check, but it was more rare, actually harder to find than the RLR. Despite that though, it was worth less because if you got an SP pack, you instantly had a bunch of money in your hands. And so most people were perfectly fine selling the entire SP pack for basically the same price as a singular RLR. Regardless though, if you are looking for this card right now, good luck. Once again, these kind of suck right now. You would rather ride literally anything else, but this is more like a collector kind of card for me right now. And again, I have 4 copies of this. When I bought my Grand Blue collection, I want to say 3 years ago from someone, he had the SPs of basically everything. So I was very happy to buy it, you know. I wouldn't have to hunt for anything. I just bought 1 SP collection. I suddenly had a full Grand Blue SP collection. But the thing was, he had the wrong Night Rose SPs. He had the ones on the throne, and I don't like the ones on the throne. It just threw me off. It's not as good looking as this one. So I had to hunt for 4 more copies, you know, in the different SP, just so I had the correct Night Rose. Yeah, absolutely beautiful. But that leads us to number 1, the final card on this list. We have World's Prize card, Ballon Arena. This is my favorite card. Not necessarily from putting in a deck or whatever, just my favorite card. If I had to put one card on a pedestal that I can look at for days and not get bored, it's this one. Why is that? Well, first of all, it's extremely rare. If you were going to Worlds for premium, I think there were 40 people, maybe 50 people, but you also had the other guy, Gilgal. And which one you got basically depended on randomness. So if you had 50 people there, I don't know if it was 50, but somewhere in that range, you have to split that in half. So the amount of distributed cards of this one is actually more like maybe 25. Again, it's very possible that they had some reserves. I saw the reserves with my own eyes, but distributed copies wise, this is very, very, very rare. Now beyond that, again, I like the Magellanic Incarnation. And when this thing was shown, I just thought it was so fucking cool. Like, this is such a sea monster thing. This is just such a cool card. Megiddo, same thing, by the way. Another thing was that I was never really a fan of the orange on a Strides border. So if you bought this in SGR or GR, your bottom still had that awkward border in orange. And that really didn't work with the blue of this card, in my opinion. And so when they got rid of the border, I was like, wow, this looks so great. But it's even better, because what I didn't know was that at the bottom of the Ballon Arena art, it's all red and purple, which just makes this card go from like a 9 out of 10 to a 12 out of 10. Like, this card in full art, like frameless, looks so damn good. And the only way to get that look is in a World's Prize card. Like, that just blew my mind. So in the venue of Worlds, I actually looked for people selling for this. And the worst part is, I didn't need 1. Back in that time, my Grand Blue deck ran 2 because it was the only way to beat Link, Joker, and Gridora with Grand Blue back then. Without Bad Bounty, Ballon Arena was your only way. So I was maxing my Grand Blue deck. I needed to buy 2. So I had to find 2 people willing to sell their Ballon Arena. And yeah, I shelved out the cash for it. So I'm very happy for that. Currently, I still have 1 in my deck. Sometimes I wonder, like, am I really willing to destroy kind of these cards because, you know, you're playing with it. It's not really that well protected. But yeah, I'm excited, man. I love this card so much. I'd almost like to get it graded just so it's like very nicely encapsulated because, man, I love this card. This one is never leaving my collection ever. Right now, you can tell me I'll give you $3,000 and I will tell you fuck off. Like, that's just how much I love this card. That was some of my favorite items in my collection. Hope you found this interesting. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you soon. Ciao.